Enjoyed him in such movies as Sex, Lies, and Videotape, The Player, While You Were Sleeping, American Beauty, and on television with The O.C., Californication, Grace and Frankie, and now the new NBC show that's on Sunday nights at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, Zoey's Extraordinary Playlist, starring our next guest, Peter Gallagher. Good to see you, sir. How are you?
Good to see you, Rich.
You got it. You got it. So you're from New York City, correct?
Yes, sir.
Do you still have that accent a little bit?
I have a little. My ma was. She was pretty well raised in the Bronx,
yes.
So I still have a little in my ear. I
could hear it a little bit. I could hear it a little bit. When I started doing sportscasting, I used to say NCAA tournament. And then like tournament and New York and stuff like that. And then I had to start saying, okay, tournament, like literally spell out the word T-U-R-N and spell it out.
I find when I'm doing SVU,
yes,
and I'm like half the guys are from the Bronx, or they're from my era, New York, and that kind of that vibe that's disappearing fast. And plus the character I played, Chief Dodds, is a New Yorker from
By the way, it sounds like you sound more like a New Yorker with every word you're saying right now. It's kind of funny, but if you cut me off in traffic, it will come out.
Forget about it. Yeah,
you just said forget about it.
Oh, well, right. Yeah, exactly. It goes like, and my wife is from Boston. You're
Same
just
with
watching
me.
her. Oh my God! She's watching the Patriots or the Red Sox. It sounds, if you're not in the room, you'd sound like somebody's getting killed. And my kids and I, she's converted all of us because we're just watching her watch the sports. Well, it's like the best entertainment ever.
My wife's a diehard Patriot fan from the womb.
Oh, get out!
Yes, as is Chris across the way right over there. And I'm a diehard Jet fan from the womb. And I could not, in my own rightful way, with the Patriots winning as many championships with Tom Brady as they have been doing since my children have been born, I would think Child Services would remove them from my house if I said, no, you must root for the Jets instead of Tom Brady and the New England Patriots right now. That's just the way it's been going in my house. But it's interesting. So you married Boston, and
yes, we met first week of freshman year in college. She was huge. She wears the sports pants in our family.
Okay.
I do musicals.
You do, including your current show right now on NBC.
When I'm not catatonic, I'm singing and dancing.
Exactly, which
pretty much.
We'll hit that in a second on Zoey's Extraordinary Playlist with Peter Gallagher here on the Rich Eisen Show. So, did you play sports at all as a kid? Did you ever?
Did
you try?
I played briefly soccer, and we lost every single game. Mm-hmm. And not only did we lose every single game, we never scored once. But that team went on to winning all because we were young.
Okay, of course.
It was a young JV team. And so I played for a year, and I had no skill, but I had no regard for my personal safety. Okay. So they would just send me in to just create havoc.
Right.
And then I discovered the theater, and that was all. And that was
all she wrote.
Right. And then I played a little hockey growing up. Just pick up. If it was no equipment, if 10 guys showed up, it would be 5. If 20, it would be 10. If 2, it would be 1-on-1. If
Pickup hockey, huh?
Just
on the sloughs of Armonk, New York,
in
pretty
the ponds,
much.
Pond hockey.
Yeah, right.
And in fact, years later, Dennis Leary called me up when my son was playing hockey against Gretzky's kids.
Come on, wait a minute, hold on a second. Your son is playing against Gretzky's kids.
Well, because they were little boys, and he was playing for the Rangers then, and we would go to Chelsea Pier for our 6 a.m. practices, and my son was a goalie. And I remember one day, Wayne, we were at practice, and Wayne was there, and he was like, "Look, so what's the matter?" I said, "My son's in the net playing defense." I said, "Geez, Wayne, take it easy. It's not like he woke up and just said, 'Hey, I want to design dresses,' which would be fine." But for him, it was like it was funny.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to put a big stick in his hand, and play defense, oh my God!
But like a while later, Dennis Leary called me up. Should I stop talking? Are we still on?
Peter, tell me the Dennis Leary story, man. Go for it.
So Dennis calls me up and he says, "Pete, Wayne wants to know if you want to play Friday." I said, "Play what?" Because we've been talking about golf, hockey. I said, "You out of your mind? I haven't played hockey in 25 years, and I don't have any equipment." He said, "Yeah, but it'll get your son 2 hours with the Ranger greats at the Garden.
Yeah,
on the ice." I said, "Oh, I'm in." So I go to sleep about that night. I wake up an hour later in a cold sweat. My wife says, "What's the matter?" I says, they're going to be bringing me home in a body bag tomorrow. And so I go, and meanwhile, the other hockey dads are up there going, he's the bravest man in the world. But I go to the locker room, and Ron DeGay and Cam Neely said, I had never worn equipment as a hockey player, and I'd never played on a rink ice. So I said, guys, what's this? I said, those are for your legs. Okay, great. And anyway, I skated my shifts. I almost had an assist. 13,000 people. But the best thing was, I got home after practice the next morning with my son, and my wife said, you know that stationery, that Ranger stationery you gave your son, gave Jamie? Said, yeah, well, he started writing in it. For him to write in anything at that age would have been less surprising if he flapped his arms and flew to the moon.
Right.
And it said, January 9th, 1999. Today was the best day of my life.
That's the best thing about it,
I couldn't walk
Peter.
for 2 weeks, and it was the best thing I ever did.
That's exactly right. Peter Gallagher here on the Rich Eisen Show. And so that's at Madison Square Garden.
Madison Square Garden. At one point, he said, Gallagher. And I heard my name. I thought, oh, I've done something wrong. And I stopped, and I looked, oh.
And now your name's up in the rafters there, right?
Yeah, no,
never. Peter Gallagher here on the Rich Eisen Show. And I saw you rolling some putts right there. You played in the AT&T Pebble Beach, correct?
I did. I played a few times, and I played because of Jack Lemmon.
Okay.
Because Jack Lemmon gave me my first set of golf clubs when we were doing Long Day's Journey and Tonight.
Okay.
And he was always talking about, I got to play the AT&T. And I had the remarkable experience of playing the AT&T. Should I tell the story? We should. We have enough time.
Peter, go for it.
I don't know. I don't know whether you get the radio or the thing and the bang and the bang and the bang.
We're just here having a conversation.
Okay, cool.
It's all good.
So I'm teeing off with Dan Pohl.
Sure.
I'd gotten in the AT&T because I was doing a movie with Bill Murray in London.
Okay.
And we would go to the driving range and hit. And he says, at the end, he says, hey, you want to play some golf in January at Pebble? I said, man, I would love to. Wait, Billy, it's like the AT&T. I'm not good enough to play in that. He said, I know. And
but if Bill Murray is getting you in the field,
so I had an 18 handicap, and I had I remember the night before the thing started, I was in my hotel room thinking, how does this putting thing work?
Right.
You know, and but on the 18th hole at Pebble, it was our third round. We tee off, Dan Pohl, Polecat, and I, and he says, we're going to make the cut. We were 22 under par. Because every time he said, I need a par out of you, and I need a par out of you now. And I remember my hands would be shaking, but somehow if I made a bogey, it would be a net par. Yes. If I made a par, it would be a net birdie. And we were 22 under.
Please.
And I'm thinking, holy God, I can't make the cut. That's going to kill Lemon. And I said, no, he's going to be so proud of me.
Yeah.
And so we're hitting up to the 18th green, and there's Lemon. And Dan, Dave Pells.
Yes.
Was his caddy that year because he said, Jack, you're going to make the cut this year. I'm going to work with you for a full year. I'm going to be on your bag. We're going to do it.
Man.
So Jack is waiting with Pells behind the 18th green. Jack is like this, and Dave Pells is like that. And I'm going, he's going to be so proud of me. We're coming up to the green, and I wave to Jack, and he goes, you're going to make the cut, you. And it was like, and we missed it by one, and I was almost relieved.
Oh my God! But to be called that by Jack Lemmon, oh my!
He was like a father to me. He was everything.
So based on what you're telling me, Peter Gallagher here on the Rich Eisen Show, you're a young man who chose the theater over sports, and yet skated with Gretzky and Cam Neely and the Rangers greats in Madison Square Garden, and almost made the cut at the AT&T at Pebble Beach. I mean, my God, Peter.
You know what it is? That's the crazy thing about...
And you're a beginner in every single aspect. You might want to, shoot a little lower before you go for the...
that's the crazy thing about being an actor. It's like Marcello Mastroianni called it a luxury tourist. We get to do things we should not be allowed to do.
That's right.
With people that we should not be allowed to be doing them with.
Right.
And it's part of the... If you have no qualms about jumping into an experience you're not qualified for...
Right.
It can just lead you to the, remarkable thing.
It's funny that we talked about it back, Chris. I don't know if you're aware, but Peter Gallagher and I share one thing in common. We've both been put in films by the director, John Turteltaub, who had him in While You Were Sleeping. And he gave me my first break in Disney's The Kid,
The Kid,
playing
yeah, of course.
myself. I was awake. Peter was mostly asleep in his. That's basic, and we're both from New York City. That's
Right.
our connection.
And John Turteltaub directed 2 episodes of Zoey.
This is
Zoey's,
amazing.
and I don't speak in that either. So at least with Rich, he doesn't mind listening to him speak. With me, he says, I'll do it, as long as Gallagher keeps his mouth shut. It's been working for both of us, which is good.
Gotten this far.
My gosh. So Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist, you play a dad with a rare neurological disease, and your daughter can hear what you're thinking through music. This is the episode 3 that's coming up on this new series. It premiered in January. Episode 2 aired this past Sunday. I'm wondering what you love about this show, Peter.
You know what I love about this show? It's the same thing I loved about The OC. The OC was like a great show to be telling right on the heels of 9/11 when people were starting to get worried about strangers and foreigners and feeling xenophobic. And Sandy Cohen shows up and says, I'm not scared. I'm not scared of people being different. Come on into my house. We'll take it. That, to me, was an American, unafraid response. That, to me, was more American than saying, keep those people out, keep these people out. And this show is all about the things that connect us. And we're in such a divided time. I thought it would be so powerful to be telling a story that suggests that everybody has a story. And you don't know what it is unless you listen. It doesn't matter what they look like or where they come from, you will be surprised. And you will be surprised about how much we all share. And these songs these hit songs that we do already reside in us. And it's kind of what connects us when we discover that we feel the same way about being recognized or family or loss or love or, when in theater, when you do your job really well and you're on stage and it's something like that and there's a moment and it works, for a moment, no one in that room feels alone. Everyone for a moment feels like we're all members of the same tribe. And this show, I'm hoping, will inspire those same feelings of the connection we have to each other. That there's a lot more that connects us than divides us. So that's really, and also my mother had Alzheimer's for 20 years, and it's not a dissimilar disease to PSP, which is more Parkinsonian, but and my dad didn't really talk to me much growing up. He was in World War II in the Battle of the Bulge, and his mom died young. His dad was a coal miner, and we would watch Notre Dame football because miraculously he and his working brothers got to Notre Dame, and we'd go to Mass. But there was about the same amount of dialogue during both of those experiences. So I always looked at my dad and I wondered what was going on when he was that far away, look in his eye. And so it's about feeling connected to people you can't seem to reach, too.
Oh, beautifully put, Peter. Really. And it's a beautiful show, 9 Eastern, 8 Central on NBC on Sunday nights. Before I let you go, my wife would kill me if I didn't ask you a question about While You Were Sleeping. Is that the film that you get the most about? What do you get the most?
Well, While You Were Sleeping is up there. The OC is up there. And The Idolmaker, oddly, my first movie is people must be playing somewhere or something. And fortunately, it's a lot of different things. But While You Were Sleeping is a big one. Hey, I'm glad to see you woke up.
Yeah, right.
But it's all good.
Right.
People, and plus we had such a great cast. Peter Boyle, Jack Warden, Glynis Johns.
Yeah.
Boyle and I got to be friends on that.
Oh, is that right?
And, I love my job because I get to have these extraordinary experiences,
Right.
some of which I'm qualified for in the acting and some of which the athletic things.
Who was the toughest director you ever had?
Toughest?
Because you've had Soderbergh for Sex, Lies, and Videotape, right? Robert Altman for The Player. My boy Turteltaub for While You Were Sleeping.
Mike Nichols a couple of times.
Mike Nichols a couple of times.
Yeah.
My gosh. Who pushed you the most, or who brought out?
Oh, brought out the best? Well, the thing is, the best directors don't have to bring out the best in you because they've already... It's like what Altman used to say. I said, Bob, how come you never fire anybody? I said, why would I do that? I said, you're here because I want you to do what you do. The best you can do is surprise me.
Huh.
So that's what the best directors. The most challenging directors, one I'm thinking in particular, who had determined before we went to work that it wasn't going to be something. And So it made it hard to
give them
get past that because they already had a preconceived notion of what it was. But I've been lucky with the directors I've worked with.
Well,
I've
man,
worked with the best.
And I'm glad to hear that that John's doing a couple of these episodes on NBC again. Zoey's
We adore him. He is adored on our set.
As well, he is. And I'm not just saying that because my wife and I love him and the fact that he gave me my first movie break. And Disney's the kid that gives me a residual check of about an average of 4 cents, pretty much.
Wow, those 4-cent ones.
Those are pretty damn good.
Those leave you scratching your head.
At Peter Gallagher on Twitter. And again, check out Zoey's Extraordinary Playlist on NBC at 9 Eastern, 8 Central on Sunday nights. Thanks for coming on, brother.
Thanks, Rich.
You got it.
A lot of fun.
Yeah, right back at you. We'll be taking your phone calls at 844-204-RICH to wrap up this Tuesday show when we come back.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.